Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Marc-Anthony Arena. He is an author, a public speaker, 2 decades of experience in the IT industry, and today we will be talking to him about how to protect yourself from phone scammers. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Namaste. How are you?
I am good. That's nice. Namaste, 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 namaste. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form, Mark. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the world will benefit from what we'll be talking about, protecting yourself from phone scammers.
Absolutely. Do you want me to give an intro of how I got into this?
Yes, absolutely. Let's begin from that.
Okay, really quick. When I was 10 years old in Florida, I went to visit my grandmother's aunt. And my family, we were all there, and our aunt said that her cousins were going to throw away their TV. And my dad said, hang on a second, let me bring Mark. So my dad brings me, I was about 10 years old, and we go up this elevator to their apartment, and they said they're going to throw away their TV. And he says, Mark, go figure it out. And he was great about, Mark, you figure it out, instead of telling me what to do. So I looked at it, looked at the remote control. I rolled the batteries around, I put new batteries in, turned it on, and they were amazed. And it took me until later on as an adult to realize that was most of it. Working in this industry for years, my estimation is that 99% of the money spent in the IT industry is unnecessary. And unfortunately, the stores are more than willing to welcome you with open arms and tell you you need new things when you really don't.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that is where we will be talking about, how one can protect themselves from from phone scammers or from any sort of scam online, and that is where, so that we don't need a lot of unnecessary things in our lives, and only the things, especially because one gets down to buying so many unnecessary things in the whole quest of protecting yourself. I don't know, you'll be able to tell whether that all is necessary. So my first question to you on this, Mark, is that our phone is a very important device today. It is not just a phone, it is also your personal computer in a way. It is also your bank you are carrying with you all the time. So it's almost everything that you hold important for, and if it's connected, and a lot of times it is used by almost everyone, senior citizens, from a young person even to kids. So how should we look, from your perspective, how should we look at phone? Should we look at it purely, because we tend to only look at it only as a phone? How should we look at it and then protect ourselves accordingly? What are the different ways we should look at it and then go for the right sort of protection that is available?
I'll start with what not to do. What you definitely don't want to do is virus protection. So virus protection is absolutely 100% useless. I have never, ever, ever seen a traditional virus in a residential machine since 2013. The first thing I do when I get to someone's house and, I've been scammed and I have this and I have that, is, well, look at that. Your Norton and your McAfee were sitting there twiddling their thumbs, unable to protect you. Because viruses have never, ever, ever happened since 2013. There are a lot newer threats. There are 4 new threats, and I'll get to those later. But there are 4 new threats that happen instead of viruses. And unfortunately, most computer guys don't know that. So they'll go to your house, and they'll just do a virus scan, and they'll never find anything. What if you had a doctor, and your doctor had training only on bubonic plague? So you came to him tomorrow with a problem, and he said, well, I can't find anything because all I know how to do is look for bubonic plague. Doesn't happen anymore. That's not a threat anymore. There are newer threats. So it's all about, and I actually created a certification. I created the first and only residential IT certification in the world to talk about these modern threats. If you want to get into specifically phone scams, the phone calls we get all the time, it's really rampant here in America, and it gives Indians a bad name, right? I have an uncle who's an Indian. One of my best friends is Indian, and it gives them a bad name because you have the minority of people there who are calling every number in America and Canada and Europe, and they're calling every number.
Even to us Indians, we get a lot of calls from not only India, but a lot of from outside numbers, WhatsApp calls, messages. Everyone wants to engage with you without any reason for engagement.
Right. There's no, and there's an episode I have on my podcast, the Computer Exorcist Podcast. I've been recording these scam calls and I torment them and I eventually get them to break. And it's, it's meant for entertainment, but it shows one guy at the end. I told him, I said, look, you think that you need to scam. That's the story of the world, right? Oh, I need to scam people to survive, to make money. I said, you can make a lot more money helping people. Okay. I make a lot of money helping senior citizens, and you could make more money doing the right thing, especially nowadays in America. Nobody's working. So every business is desperate for employees. If you do the right thing, you'll make more money in the long term. So one of my most important things is understanding the nature of a scam. You have to understand the nature of your enemy, no matter what you're doing. If you're doing martial arts or whatever, you have to understand the nature of the beast so that you actually know how to fight it. Let's talk about phone scams here. A lot of guys are out there. Same thing with the computer guys doing virus scans like it's 1981. You're not going to find anything. So a lot of guys here created products that block phone calls, right? And it's the dumbest idea in the world, and here's why. They create a device like a lot of us still use landlines, right? And a lot of people are leaving the landlines because of the number of scam calls we're getting. But a lot of these guys are making products where there's a big red block button, and you feel good about yourself when you get a scam call and you hang up and you press a big red block button. What does the block button do? It's a reactionary thing that blocks the phone number of the scammer. Okay, and you feel good about yourself, and that guy made money off of you selling you this stupid product. Think about this for 5 seconds. The scammers change their number every day. What's the point of blocking their number when they change their number every day? Hello. But no one gets this because these guys are eager to sell you something. It's a false sense of security, and everything, not just with phone things, but everything in my industry, everything is a false sense of security. All the antivirus products, any cleaners, any scanners, any optimizers, everything out there that you buy that claims to clean or protect is actually fake. And also people are so eager and willing to pay. Oh, I'm going to rub money all over this problem, right? And the more money I rub all over this problem, the more protected I'll feel. But are you? You have to ask yourself the definitive question. How's that working out for you? Are the scam calls actually stopping? No, because you're pressing a button that blocks a number, and tomorrow the scammers get another number.
Right. Then, Mark, what to do? Means as an individual, as a simple person, I am a simple person in that we don't know too much about all these devices. A lot of senior citizens, a lot of simple people in villages, they have a smartphone. What to do then? See, if companies call, they are very irritating. Nowadays, you have robots calling you. So they find the easy way is that at least let me block this nuisance, because not everyone is using a Truecaller or any of these the other things. That will come to Truecaller and other of these sort of things a bit later on. So what do? I go for this blocking.
One more thing not to do.
Yes. So what do you do then? You just don't block any call, and you feel that okay, can you be away from all this nuisance? Maybe because scamsters, they will continue to change their number. So what to do? Just wait and bear this nuisance and nonsense?
Absolutely. You don't have to put up with it. So, and one more thing not to do is whenever you talk to an engineer, right? Engineers love solving problems by adding more complexity, which never works. And it usually penalizes the innocent consumer, right? And they also add centralized control schemes, which doesn't protect anyone and penalizes the innocent consumer. So there was something called shake and stir. And these engineers promised, like a year or two ago, they promised that there would be no more scam calls because of shake and stir. And it was an ultra complex scheme, and it was a centralized validation scheme. So we all had to pay $80 a piece, or our phone company paid the $80 for us. And we were going to register our names in a central registry. And it would protect us because scammers won't be able to register their names. Guess what? Scammers laughed at this, and they registered their names in this central scheme. We all were penalized for it. None of it protected anyone. So in my professional opinion, the shake and stir thing is a scandal, or at the very least pointless and a massive waste. So here's what you do. You defend yourself on the individual level. In 2017, I was trying to run to the bathroom. I was home in my home office, and these scammers kept calling and calling. And I called my phone company and I said, can I get a new number? And the guy said, yeah, right, kid. Like, that's going to protect you. Because they call every number one by one. They're just numbers. And I thought to myself, there's got to be something that'll protect me. So I actually worked on a prototype product, and I'm still working on it actually, for landlines, where it takes the call and through some magic that I can't say, it makes sure they are human beings before they talk to you, right? Even if it's a human being, because a lot of the solutions right now, well, I only answer calls from people in my contact list. Well, that's what if someone needs you and you don't know them yet, right? What if a doctor calls you or something? So my method, just make sure they're human and not robocalls, because I understand the nature of how robocall machines work and how they react and so on. So I'm working on that product. I haven't released it yet, but I had some prototypes. It's called Only You Can Call Me, and that's coming soon. I also looked online to see if there were similar products. And again, 99% of those products were just block buttons, reactionary stupidity, or apps as well, where it's a block button on an app. And again, it's stupidity. It can never help you because bad guys get new numbers every day. Again, a lot of guys don't know the nature. So I met with a guy in Northern Ireland, and he has a product that he's farther along with. He created it. He has certifications for it. I actually talked to him yesterday morning. And ideally, I'll be able to sell his product for him in America. And again, that blocks all scam calls, similar to how mine works, where our design is about simplicity and decentralized self-defense. Okay? Right? If someone walks up to you and assaults you, do you call the police and then you have to wait an hour for them? Especially in America now, our police take an hour to get to us. I was telling this guy yesterday. My brother had a problem. He called the police, took them an hour to get there. So do you wait for a centralized protection, or do you defend yourself? Do you wear a bulletproof vest, so to speak? Does that make sense?
Right. Then as a normal person, what do I do with my phone? And also, please help us understand, a lot of our data through phone or anything else, it's also in the cloud. How do I make sure? And secondly, a lot of computers nowadays, laptops, I see that they have this facility that you can connect your laptop with the phone itself. I have not done it, but what is that thing? Whether one should utilize that thing or not? Is it useful? It is not useful?
It's not really. Yeah, it's just a gimmick. It's your phone already worships cloud services and your laptop worships cloud services, so there's no point to connect them together. In the 90s, yeah, if you had a Palm Pilot, you would connect it so that your schedule would synchronize, and that was great. A couple things here. If you get a phone scam, the products I'm talking about aren't out just yet, but if you get a phone scam, there's a couple things you can do to defend yourself. Number one, I learned a couple terrible words in Hindi. So I tell those people those, and it scares them off, and it really surprises them, because I'll answer and hello, how are you? And I sound like an old American, and then I throw some words at them. Other than that, you can waste their time. That actually helps, because if you're wasting the scammer's time, that prevents them from being able to go harm somebody else. So waste as much of their time as possible. And I mean, you could, of course, just ignore the calls, and their system will eventually realize that you don't answer. But I answer every call now, and I waste their time. Again, I record the good ones and I put them on my podcast, and I waste as much of their time as possible. And a lot of times they'll say, you just wasted all my time and money. And that's beautiful. Also look at scam baiters. On YouTube, there's a lot of them where they bait the scammers, right? They answer the phone and they sound like an elderly person. And a lot of them are really advanced. I'm really simple, but a lot of these guys are really advanced, where they have test computers set up and they let the scammers break into the test computers, and they see what they're doing, and they make fun of them and waste their time and make them do, and they tease them and they say, I'll give you my money. How much money do you want? Right? And they keep them going and keep them on the phone. And it's an art form and it's an entertainment form. Other than that, just spread awareness, right? There is no law. There is no software program that will ever, ever, ever protect you against an emotional scam. Again, viruses can never happen again. So one of those 4 new threats is scary message on your screen. You have viruses, call Microsoft now. Or the guy calls you, hi, we're Microsoft. You have viruses. Right now, you all know that viruses can never, ever, ever, ever happen again, thanks to this show. So now you know when someone calls you, it's fake, right? So spreading awareness that viruses can never happen again. Spreading awareness that Microsoft and Amazon and all those other companies hate people, and they will never call you. They will never actually call you. They hate you, and they will never waste their time on the phone with you. So anyone calling you is a scammer who has nothing better to do with his time. Don't ever let them into your computer. Here's the last thing. Nobody can ever, 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 ever break into your computer ever unless you let them. No one can ever get into your computer or your smartphone unless you let them. So again, it's, hi, I'm Microsoft. You have viruses. Let me into your computer. I'm here to help you. And if you do that, they use a fully legalized remote support tool that you and I would use as normal computer guys, right? So they're using a fully legalized remote support tool to break into your computer legally. You click I allow or I accept. You let them break into your computer. At that point, they look for anything they can. They look for your passwords. They'll tell you, oh, we're doing a security scan. And they'll go into your web browser, your Firefox or Chrome or heaven forbid Edge, and they'll look for your saved passwords, right? They'll do anything they can, or they'll ask you to log in. They'll do anything they want. So unfortunately, a lot of times people call me and they've gotten one of these phone scams. They let the guy break into their computer. Well, I called a computer guy and he did a virus scan. Is a virus scan going to help you against an emotional phone call using fully legalized remote support tools and a guy looking for your passwords? Does a virus scanner help there? Absolutely not.
Right. What about elderly people? They may not be as knowledgeable in terms of the latest that is happening, and nobody needs to know all that. You can know as much as possible, but why do I need to know what is happening? What are the top minds doing? So I want to understand, what can they do to protect themselves? Should they go back to the basic phone? But it is not possible. You need to talk to your, the larger family, the extended family, to anyone who is important to you. Second thing is, at the same time, Mark, what is the industry doing? This is the big IT industry, the FANG companies, all those big companies, they are all into IT. They now talk about artificial intelligence, that it is going to protect. Again, some people are talking that it is not going to protect. So what to know, what not to know, who to believe, who not to believe. And every time a new product comes in, please take this. This is going to, protect you better. Means earlier you promised that was not protecting me, but you did not tell me that time that was the best protection available. So help us understand, especially from a senior citizen point of view, what to do, especially with my phone. What to keep on my phone? Should I remove everything, just a couple of things, or should I continue to use it and ensure that I can protect myself the best way?
Sorry, I lost you. You here?
No problem. Just purely from the senior citizen point of view, how we can protect, how senior citizens can protect themselves from any sort of problems, either on the phone or even online.
Okay, absolutely. I love those questions. Again, it comes down to two things. Number one, awareness. Senior citizens have life experience and they have wisdom, right? And I tell all my clients go, my computer guy said I was stupid. Well, guess what? You're an intelligent, successful, retired person with a lot of wisdom. Don't let anyone call you stupid. You were thrust into this industry that uses intimidation to milk you for money. Don't believe anyone. Everything out there is a scam. That's what I tell people now. I got an email that says this and that. Everything's a scam. Don't trust anything, especially when Microsoft themselves, whenever they say parentheses recommended, don't do anything that Microsoft recommends because it's in their best interest and it records things about you. So awareness. Just like I said a few minutes ago, if the elderly people know, okay, number one, Microsoft hates you and they're never going to call you. Don't ever talk to anyone. Don't talk to anyone claiming to help you. And also, viruses can never happen again, no matter whatever, because the threat of viruses is the problem now. It's the threat of viruses, right? Because they know people love fear. So awareness is the only thing that'll protect you. The IT industry has proven again and again and again that it can never protect you ever. Every day they come up with more and more and more ultra complex solutions that make the industry worse, make everything more confusing, make you less safe, right? Like I talked about the shake and stir. That was a horrible mess. It was horribly useless. It can never protect you. It made things more complicated. And now when the scammer calls me, instead of a scammer with a phone number, it just has a fake name because they registered, right? They laughed, they registered for shake and stir, and they kept going. So you bring up AI, that's going to make the world more ultra complex, less safe. It's not going to help anyone or protect anyone, but you're going to have a lot of bros out there on the internet. Oh, I'm going to do AI because I was told that it's the latest thing. Anything this industry does makes things more complicated and less safe.
Right. It looks like there is still a lot to understand, lot to know. So I don't know what to believe, what not to believe. But I guess the most important thing is to be aware of things and be aware of the basics. And I guess going back to the basics is the best protection available, either in terms of your phone or in terms of your laptop or personal computer.
That's right. Just a healthy mistrust of the industry, right? There are obviously individuals in the industry who are well-meaning, right? But the industry as a whole, systemically, is about complicating things and making money by milking you, right? Monthly fees for protection. Everything you see right now is recurring fees, monthly fees. Everything you have to do is pay fees. The first thing I do when I go to somebody's house is I turn off all fees, all subscriptions, all protection. I turn it all off.
Right. One more thing, Mark, is that what about tools like Truecaller and others? Should one go for them? They help you identify the incoming calls or callers to a great extent. But what should one do? Is it helpful or does it compromise your mobile phone in some manner?
I haven't used Truecaller specifically, but again, I always, when I teach people, I say you have to have a sense of smell, right? I can't be here every day to tell you about every new product, but if you have a sense of smell, okay, what is it by nature? Is it a centralized scheme? Is it a database of numbers? Then it's useless. Because again, if that's the case, that means they do not understand. That means they admit they do not understand the nature of the scam where the calls happen from new numbers every day. So it depends on what the product is fundamentally.
Okay. As I said, there is much to understand. So a lot of people will have to come to you directly to understand these things better and learn from you, either directly through you or maybe through your podcast, the Computer Exorcist Podcast. So tell us a bit more about your podcast. You host that, and what can people learn from that? And also, how do people connect with you so that they can learn from you and also, professionally engage with you in whatever you do as a public speaker, as an author, and as I said, as a podcaster?
So I claim I'm the only guy in the world who explains technology in plain English and helps people fight against technology. Because there are a lot of other tech talk shows out there, and what do? Oh, you need to go buy the latest Epson printer and throw your printer from last week in the garbage. You need to go buy this latest thing and worship whatever is new because new equals good. No, that's a false idol. You're just worshiping whatever is new and it's pointless, right? In the 1950s and 60s, 70s, 80s, yeah, there were improvements in products, but nowadays products don't improve. They add more garbage every day, and we're still falling for it. Society is still falling. Oh, I heard I need the iPhone 12 or the iPhone 19 because it has 89 cameras in it. You don't need anything. It turns out 99% of people just want to get on and do a website and be left alone. So my target market is those 99% of people who are intimidated by technology. They just want to get online and be left alone. They don't need all of this extra garbage. So that's what I do on my show. I explain concepts in plain English, and I explain what the IT industry is doing to you behind your back without your knowledge. I explain things like the OneDrive scandal. If you buy a new Windows computer and you turn it on, they beg you to sign into a Microsoft account. You are not aware of this, but the OneDrive scandal is a fully legalized piece of software that sucks your documents and photos out of the machine and then begs you for rental money. This is legalized. 10, 20 years ago, that would be called a virus, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
But it's fully legalized because the scammers, ready for this one, Ajay? The scammers now have jobs in the industry. So they're now making things that steal, monitor, destroy, control, things like beg you for money, right? All those things that you and I called viruses 10, 20 years ago, they're now doing this legally. They have an evil desk and an evil fish tank and an evil secretary and an evil boardroom, and they're doing it legally. So everything I do on my podcast, I say, if the people knew what this industry was doing to them, they would get torches and pitchforks, right? Remember hundreds of years ago, they would get their pitchforks and farmers would revolt. So that's what I do. It's the only show that explains the industry in plain English and explains all the scandals that people are doing in plain English. TheComputerExorcist.com is how to connect with me. I give talks on this. So anyone who wants me to come on their show or give a speech, I'd love to do that. And you can also go on any podcast directory in the world and type in The Computer Exorcist.
Wonderful, wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Dhanyavad.